that one just I don't know, just like blew up huge, and it was sort of unexpectedly. And then I think the second one that we did was with Paul Jackson Jr. And equally, like that one, we were still kind of getting our sea legs as far as what the form was of the interview. And if you watch that interview, I don't think I talk for like the first minute or something, like, because Paul just interjects and is just sort of ingratiating me with all of these like compliments and telling everybody about why this is so great, and he almost sounds like he's like a preacher, or something like that, and he proceeds to play through all these hits that he played on with Michael Jackson and all these others that you'd recognize. And then the next one was like Dean Parks. And so I think like the first three that we did all got over 1 million views, or 2 or 3. And that kind of launched it. And then, it's been really cool to get to talk to my other guitar heroes like Dan Huff and Michael Thompson are kind of two of the biggest guys that, I just adored their parts and their playing, and it was just like a dream. It was like really, like when I was a kid and I was looking at my parents' like record collection and listening to that stuff, or being inspired by a guitarist, I always imagined how it might have gone down, that they would have been, how it would have been with them in the room. And so it's really special to be able to like actually have it, to the degree that it can be recreated, and that I can be in the room and hear it kind of happening in the moment. Like that is just the coolest thing. Like that's the best part of the interview. Asking questions sometimes for myself, because I just want to know, like, what gear did you use for that, or like how do you get this sound, and having them elaborate. But more than that, just like hearing them play these guitar parts that like sometimes you can't even tell, like they're so buried in some cases. So having them really brought up in the mix and having them really demonstrate, it's really cool to kind of see all that stuff happening in real time. So those have been a couple that have been really great. Another one that I really loved that I recently did, it hasn't come out yet at the time that we're recording this, was with Keith Scott from Bryan Adams, and that was really cool. Another one I worked on for a long time and took forever to locate him, and it was with Chris Hayes of Huey Lewis and the News. That took 2 years, of
wow.
Asking
Holy
people,
cow.
trying to locate him, figuring out where he was. And I'll tell a funny story, which I don't know that I've told this publicly, but it's just a hilarious story of how this ended up coming to be. So Chris is from the Bay Area, and his brother lives in a nearby city and is a drummer and plays with Robert Cray and another blues guitarist named Matt Schofield quite a bit locally, and his sister Bonnie lives in the area, and we've got a bunch of sort of mutual friends, but kind of none of them either felt comfortable either making that introduction, or kind of like wasn't really sure what my intentions were, because I guess Chris is pretty private. And so it was just difficult to get an endorsement locally for somebody to like connect me. My parents live in San Diego County and have retired there, and they live on a private golf course that Huey Lewis also lives on certain times of the year. And my dad, I'd just seen my parents recently, and my dad kind of said, "Well, who are you working on now?"